So this is my first time here, my first year in Portland, and this is super fun. Like, I feel like the only thing right now that would make this more fun if I had a megaphone that I was talking through. That'd be perfect. The idea of being at a machine learning conference where the possibility exists to play darts or pool and drink a beer while listening to a neural network talk is amazing. I was thinking about how to use this time, and what I didn't want to do this time around, at least, is to just talk about what we're doing at Nike. There'll be other opportunities for that, but I do want to use the opportunity to point out the many folks here from Nike. And so, if everyone who works at Nike could stand up a second, or anybody who's going to be working at Nike in the near future, like actually has a job. So look around, all these folks, if you're interested in what we're doing at Nike, we have lots of amazing machine learning work on the horizon. They can tell you about it. They'd love to tell you about it. Also, we have, just as a plug, we have a crazy number of openings in machine learning right now across all areas of the company. And so again, you can talk to these folks. They can tell you about what working at Nike's like, what machine learning at Nike's like, the cool technologies we're using, and so on, and then go from there. So thank you guys. Right, so what I did feel like putting together this is just gonna be like a 10-minute talk, super short, is just saying a few words about machine learning communities. And because it's on our mind right now, we're building up a machine learning program at Nike, and we're thinking a lot about Portland as a place to look to for talent and really invest in the community here. And so community's on our mind a lot right now. And I don't know if I'm trying too hard with the machine learning as a community, but maybe this will catch on. So we all know how we got here, right? So the story of the rise of AI and deep learning, especially since 2012, with some very meaningful advances that were helped along by the equivalent rise in data and compute, and what that's done to our community, right? So AI used to always be a small field. Historically, it was a very small field. And there's been a huge influx of people and ideas and different backgrounds and increasing linkage to fields like neuroscience and so on. And so it's a really exciting time to be in data science, obviously. And it's a time where there's just a wealth of information. You can go onto obviously on the internet, there's just a huge number of AI resources, a bottomless pit of AI resources, which is incredible. And we're seeing academic institutions like MIT and Berkeley, which don't change easily, completely reorganizing themselves or heavily reorganizing themselves to accommodate the rise in AI. Like, it's really having this profound impact. And think about community and a machine learning community like this one. We've all seen these definitions of what a data scientist is. There's these Venn diagrams. There's ones where it's like type A, type B. You guys know these. And these definitions they're helpful in the right context. Like, they're helpful if you're trying to figure out maybe what to study, or you're trying to figure out, you're a hiring manager, you're trying to figure out how to match people to projects. But when you're thinking about the community, I think what's cool about the name data science, and maybe part of the reason that it caught on, it took a number of years for data science to catch on as a term versus some of the other terms that were out there. Maybe part of the reason that it caught on was because it's very inclusive, right? Because it didn't have a strong tie to any one field. It wasn't just about computer science or just about stats or just about neuroscience or anything else. It was really a very inclusive name that cut across fields, and that people who had, whatever their background, if they had an interest in data-related work, they could relate to. They could say, I'm a data scientist. And so I think, the data science picture is really all these things, not a Venn diagram of them. And so, again, this is amazing to be here. Thank you for letting us be here. I think about data science communities at the national and international stage. The ones that were there before the rise in AI are still there, and they're really flourishing. We've all heard the stories of how NIPS and KDD have grown by like 400% in the last couple of years. They're continuing to succeed, continuing to be these go-to communities. You're also seeing the government finance communities. So we've seen, especially during the Obama administration, but continuing to today to some degree, a government-funded national grassroots organizer system, and the what I call the big data hubs, which have a lot to do with spreading data science at a grassroots level around the U.S. And so it's great to see our government, our federal government, helping support the machine learning community. And then I think even more exciting is what's happening at the local level, right? And so, so there's a lot of good grassroots efforts to bring people together who are interested in machine learning. We see the Stanford Women in Data Science group, which has since opened chapters all over the world, which is really amazing. Meetups have obviously evolved a lot over the years, but still continue to be a really great platform for bringing people together that live near each other and have very specific commonalities. And again, we see groups that have been around a long time, like the ACM, that are evolving to this new world of a more fluid state where you're not just working at the cadences of journals, but ACM in the Bay Area, for example, organizes unconferences around data science, which are amazing. We see in certain localities, we see these local data science groups coming together and forming umbrella organizations. I think DC is probably the best example of this, where all of their meetup groups, or most of their meetup groups, work under one umbrella and share resources. And I've seen in Portland, there's been some effort to do this as well, which is really great. So as I said, I'm pretty new to Portland, new to working with Nike. Still at the stage of I haven't bought a camper van yet, but I'm told we're looking for one. If you guys have any point of view on whether you should buy a Sprinter or a Volkswagen, I would like to hear that. I didn't ask for permission to use this image, so sorry, Dave. This is the Berkeley. I teach in the Berkeley Masters in Data Science program, and there's some really interesting Slack channels. Oh boy. There's some really interesting Slack channels. One of them, it turns out, is a Portland Slack channel, which was started by our own Dave Huber. I was in the audience here. And I love looking back at this, that started in summer of 2016. Dave's last comment there is like Bueller, like no one's here. But what I really like about it is there's 18 people now in it, right? And it's like, it doesn't sound like much, but this is one program at one university that's in a different state. And yet there's 18 people who went through it that are living here in Portland, which speaks to that and this conference speaks to that there is a community here of people doing machine learning, and that community is growing a lot, right? And so I've been trying to dig in on this a little bit and understand where things are at. And it's great to see a fairly large meetup group. This is, the largest meetup groups for data science are in San Francisco, and they're about 12 to 15,000 people. And so seeing one that's at 3,300 in Portland, that's actually a pretty good size. And so that's pretty exciting that there's a flourishing community here, and the effort to combine these groups together and share resources is really exciting to see as well. Our read on the situation is like, we're somewhere in the beginning of all this for Portland, right? Because Portland just has all the ingredients to be a real hub for engineering and data science, right? Like all the things that engineers tend to love and data scientists tend to love are here pretty much, right? We have nature, we have great food and culture. I was in a meeting the other day with some of my hiring managers were describing to recruiters why people would want to work in Portland. And they got lit up and they said, the airport's amazing. And like on one hand, that's ridiculous. But on the other hand, it's like, it's true and it's perfect. You can easily fly all over. So where am I going with this? So, again at Nike, we're hugely increasing our investment in machine learning and data science. Hugely, we have tons of openings. And as a piece of that, we'd like to do as much as possible here in Portland. And so we'd really like to invest in whatever way we can, whatever way is appropriate in the Portland community and support efforts like this, support other efforts that might come. We'll contribute in our own ways. I'm told that Nike in the past has contributed a lot to hackathons, to speakers, which is amazing. So we'll continue doing that. A couple of people on our team, pictures there, Ani and Sophie, are going to start. Turns out there's a gap where, I mentioned the Stanford Women in Data Science group. There's no Portland branch. And so they're going to start a branch this coming year, and hopefully we'll hold that on Nike's campus. And we're going to invest a lot more in, when we bring in external speakers to Nike, we're going to try to also open those talks up as much as we can to the public. And so, again, with whatever we can do, we want to do those things to help see this community grow. So we sponsored the conference. As part of that, we're sponsoring a happy hour tomorrow after the conference. Caitlin, where are you? Caitlin, right there. She can tell you all about the happy hour if you're interested in joining us. I hope many or all of you will. It'd be really fun. And that's it. That's all I put together for today. I'll look forward to meeting a lot of you over the next 2 days. Thanks.